Yo, 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 yo. We are live. What is up, everybody? How is everybody doing tonight, today, whatever?
Good.
It's the afternoon, I guess. For
It's evening.
hey,
It's after 5.
that's you know what? It is after 5. We will take the evening.
Feel
Cheers.
free to hear.
It's water. It's
That
water for the record, Twitch.
that's
It's
I
water.
I too have the agua today. Because I'm not playing, so I'm not drinking anything else. Because normally I drink Kool-Aid. That's
Oh.
that's that might be a lie. Um, Welcome everybody watching this here now live, watching it later on YouTube, wherever you catch it. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. My name is Randy, Macarandy and Cheese. I'm going to be the host of this fun little get together, our Ravenloft wrap up roundtable. Thank you all for tuning in. If this is your first time here, come join us on Discord. Come hang out, play with us sometime. If you're watching this later, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Let's go ahead and start off with some introductions. We are missing a couple people tonight that weren't able to make it. Uh, so if you want to hear their thoughts on any of this stuff, make sure you join that Discord so you can come get their insights as well. I already introduced myself. As far as what's on my screen here, we'll just go to the left, playing Haley. Go ahead, do a little introduction there.
Hello, my name is Kissy Nectar, and I'm playing Haley, the Tabaxi Ranger with the God Fuzzball. Also, that is not my real voice.
Perfect, perfect. It's fun. Character voices are always good. They're always fun.
Oh, yeah.
They're my favorite part. At the underneath section, we have our benevolent dungeon master. Go
What's
ahead.
up, everybody? I'm Chris, also known as Muff Goblin. I'm the dungeon master for the Curse of Strahd game, Dungeon Oasis.
And what a benevolent dungeon master you were. And then
You let us live.
last but certainly not least, we have the smallest member of our party, Borkin. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself there?
Fuck, I just do wolf shit and big hit stuff with a sword. I'm about to say, but teleport around every once in a while. Yeah. Yeah, Justin. Everybody calls me Dottie. Yeah, I played Borkin on for the Blood campaign, and it was a blasty blast.
Heck yeah, I know. I didn't personally get to play in the campaign, but as an avid watcher, it was quite entertaining. The from start to finish. Um, so just from an outsider's perspective, an outsider's view, thank you all for making that an entertaining adventure and something that was fun to watch. Like I said, from start to finish, there was always something going on, and yeah, it was a blast to be a part of, even from a viewer's perspective.
Fun to play.
Oh, yeah. Thank
Or-
you. Yeah,
Yeah, that shit was
this
off
was
the
so
chain.
much
Thanks
fun.
for checking it out.
So let's talk about a little bit about the tone of the campaign itself. It was a fairly dark camp like tone, and the setting of Ravenloft is not necessarily one of high fantasy, but one of kind of grimdark, uh, that sort of stuff. Um, Question for like the players. So for I'm gonna refer to you guys as Haley and Borkin because that's what I'm feeling right now.
That's
Um,
fine. That's the reason I put Haley's name back in my Discord name
heck
for today.
heck yes, heck yes. Was there a moment during the campaign that you guys were surprised by the darkness of it, like something you were like, oh, like it's like that? Uh, Borkin, let's start with you.
Well, for me, honestly, like seeing how dark it could be overall wasn't like a surprise.
Hmm.
Because I've run this game before. But as a player, seeing how Muff worked in our backgrounds into these dark things happening, like working in what we personally told him about our characters and stuff, and fitting it in seamlessly with the world that is as it should be, super duper dark, super treacherous, lots of really crazy, fucked up things going on all the time. And he slid our backstories in right with everything else, and those are the moments that got me like, oh, that wasn't in the script. So that really
For
caught
sure.
me off guard and threw me for a loop.
That's a sign of a good dungeon master. Again, throwing those things that, especially when you're running a module and something that has a script or at least guidelines, being able to know like when to go off script and bring those things in. Haley, what about you? Was there any time things got
Well,
whoa?
oh. It was actually my first time playing the Curse of Strahd game. So I already knew it was going to be dark horror based. There were times I actually was scared that like we were going to TPK like every time.
I was cheering for it.
But
I mean,
I know you
I
were, and
know.
I was like in the chat arguing with you, going no, because I didn't want us to die. But I think that kind of countered that. But I was actually, I would say, yeah, the story gets pretty freaking dark at points, but I think it could have gone darker. As scary as that might be to say, it could have gone darker. But I think if I don't think if we were streaming, it could have gone darker if we weren't streaming.
that's that's fair. Do you want to kind of touch on? I see you nodding
I
over there.
It's yeah, it's
I suspected uh something extremely bad was going to happen to Irina/Marina. That was not Twitch TOS appropriate.
yeah. So I know I made modifications. Like there's stuff that's in the book already that's a little weird, so I had to take that out for the stream. There's also a lot of things that you can find around the internet that are really good to put in, but they do get pretty dark. But yeah, like Haley was saying, like you for a stream, you got to keep it somewhat, family friendly.
Completely understandable. To kind of piggyback on that for the DM, uh, you're um, was there anything not necessarily that you kept out uh, as far as stream like watcher availability and things like that, um, but was there anything that you were really hoping that the party would get to that they didn't get to, or like is there like now that it's over, like what did they miss?
Well, the biggest thing that I wanted to have them encounter was the reveal that Mordenkainen was in the campaign, which luckily they're very explorative, and Elisa Bete went off to go do that, which was pretty cool. Um, the, Something that didn't get put into play, which I was pretty excited about personally, was early on in the campaign, RC had kind of went off on his own excursion, and I threw in a battle map where he found this cart that was covered in webs and stuff, and inside of it, he noticed that there was a statue to like an entrance to a spider temple or whatever. And I actually created this whole dungeon and this whole lore bit that went along with it and everything about this drow priestess turned rider. It was pretty cool, but that never made it into the campaign. I was really thought they would go back to check that out, but they never did.
That's the life of a DM, especially in a
Yeah,
long campaign like that. You're like, I gotta set this up, and it's gonna be super dope. And then they're just
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm gonna go that way.
Yeah,
yeah.
And
Zar
yeah,
really wanted to go back to that. Zar, who plays RC, really wanted to go back and explore that spider temple. We just kept telling him there's not enough time.
Yeah.
So,
Now I got a one shot to
Yeah,
run in the future though, so
hell
I was we just got to a point to where we didn't have time to do extra stuff. Like we had put so much on our plate that we didn't have enough time to eat it all.
I mean, yeah, I think that was something that was fun for me to kind of watch was all of a sudden like you guys really had free reign to kind of do what you wanted to do, and then those choices just became narrower and narrower as everything progressed, and Strahd became more apparent, and you guys were doing stuff that caught his attention and made things kind of happen a little faster than perhaps you would have liked. But that is the beauty of that campaign and module, I think. Um, uh, let's see here. We got some. I got some questions for each of the players here. Uh,
Sweet.
yeah, we'll start with Haley here.
Okay.
Um, what was it like being in this grimdark setting, uh, having a romantic interest in Barovia? Uh, how did that kind of how did that work?
Um, well, completely out of left field because Muff had added Domo as part of my backstory.
Okay,
Uh, and like just that he had been part of my tribe. The backstory for Domo was, or at least from what Muff told me, was he was a member of my tribe who had been massacred. But he had somehow ended up in Barovia and had been trained to be a blacksmith, and he left before the massacre. So when
okay,
my character, who's the daughter of the chieftain of the tribe, sees another one of her tribe, she's like, "Yes, I can get married!" so
nice.
so it was kind of exciting to find Domo and then have that small. It was, I know it was only like two or three interactions, maybe four. I'm that between them, but like they did go on a date, which was really nice.
They did.
And then like before Haley went off to, I think we were taking care of the Thanes at the time, or at least we knew we were doing something big. Haley went to him and pretty much kissed him on right on the lips, going, "I'm back for you, dumbass."
Hmm.
So that's what happened. But it
That
was
was
exciting. I loved it.
yeah, that was a fun little twist. So Muff, to kind of follow up on that, did putting Domo into the the module campaign, like, did that influence the plot at all? Um, and do you think that your experience with running the module itself made it easier to throw something like that in there?
Yeah, so like having ran the module before, I kind of had an idea already of where there are plot holes where I could plug in the characters' backstories and stuff. And I seen that like Kresk, how it's written in the book, is pretty boring. There's not really anything there except for the Abbey, which they checked out. So actually stole some stuff from this subreddit called r slash Curse of Strahd, which is super good. Highly recommend for anyone that's running the module. There's a user on there named Mandy Mod, and she kind of fleshed out like where there's a blacksmith shop and there's a little general store and a tavern and all this stuff. So I kind of stole that, and then I was just kind of creating NPCs, and I noticed that there was no I didn't have an NPC for a blacksmith, and I was like, I came up with the idea. I was like, that'd be really cool to have a surprise for Haley that one of her clan members are still alive. So I took that, I created Domo, and I gave him a little mouse friend named Miki, which I thought was a fun, like unlikely friend scenario.
Nice.
Me and Miki had a lot of chats.
Oh yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I think that throughout the campaign, though, it developed to where like where they wouldn't have really had any stakes in Kretsk. Domo gave them those stakes that they needed to really care about that town. So I think it worked out fabulously. So
I would say Haley would not have brought the rock we took down to Kresk if Domo wasn't there. She wouldn't have done it. She would have been like, "Yeah, fuck that town. We don't care. There's nothing there." And she's
right.
like, "Wait, my boyfriend's there."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, excellent placement, Mister
so
DM.
many animals we tried to tame. Which I'm sure will come up
We did
later.
try to tame way too many animals.
Speaking of animals, this brings us to my question for Borkin. Uh, being a werewolf had various pros and cons. I'm sure. You know, including not taking damage from a whole bunch of stuff, but also like not being able to go into certain places when you were in your hybrid form because people don't generally like werewolves too much. Um, what was it like having to kind of take that into account as you're traveling Barovia and throughout?
Um, honestly, at the beginning of it, like I regretted taking the werewolf curse at first, like because it was really, really hard to deal with. Like losing control all the time, especially me being one of the higher DPS characters in our party, with all those mitigations and the fact that my character was built to fight vampires and things like that, so fears and things like that didn't work as well on me, which would be the only way to really rein in Morgan once he lost his shit. Luckily, the times I did lose my shit, these guys rolled off the charts to like rein me back in, so it didn't become as big of an issue as it could have. Even though I did end up killing, I only ended up killing one random civilian, which by rights, how many times I lost control, there should have been a lot more dead people. If it wasn't for the ingenuity that we had to lock me up all the time, have shackles ready, attach Bandita with the cage and everything, uh, I probably would have accepted getting cured. But by the time I got control of it, oh man, it was worth it. It was so worth it in the end. Like it was a rough like 7 levels dealing with it. But as soon as I got that shit mastered, it was so worth it.
How,
Even yeah, there was the parts with the moon and stuff where I had to avoid those, but I think for RP that was just cool.
yeah, I think to follow up on that, like at the end with like the blood moon and stuff like that, when Strahd's sitting there doing all this stuff, like how wild was that for you to just know like, oh no.
Uh, yeah, just kind of like putting in faith that like I would kind of like dive into situations where I knew I'd probably lose control if I was close enough to Strahd if he had hit me or something like that. Because then Angry Dog's gonna bite the person that hit it last, so I could just lose control and then just like it would use up a lot of my resources because it would be trying to do the most damage with everything that I could every turn instead of like trying to meet it out throughout the whole fight. But it kind of ended up being worth it because like I did so much damage to Strahd right at the beginning of the fight that he changed tactics. He wasn't like baiting me out anymore. He was running away up walls trying to stay out of reach from me, which changed the entire dynamic of the fight like so vastly that I
Yeah.
like there was time when I was just like hiding in the shadows, like just waiting to get like back under control, like just like get back down here.
that
Or worse, Haley tied you up. But the two times that Morgan went
Yeah,
crazy,
yeah. I was like getting all wrapped up. Yeah,
I rolled
yeah, getting wrapped
beautifully
up
for
by Haley
those.
multiple times.
Like, I have 50 feet of rope. Watch this. Like, hog tie Morgan. Like, no.
50 feet of rope in a dream.
50 feet of rough in a dream.
It was magical.
I mean I also
Yeah,
go ahead.
yeah. I was just saying, yeah, that shit was crazy in my mind. That was very well built, and like that dynamic was such an interesting thing to have to fight around.
Yeah, it was definitely fun to watch. Kept me on the edge of my seat a lot. Um, I had questions for Elizabetta and RC. I'm just going to take a quick moment to shout out the other two players. RC was played by Zard, and Elizabetta was played by Lawgiver. Both of them are members of the Discord server. If you want to chat with them, like I said before, come hang out and join the server and join the conversation once this is done and over with, and everything to go on in the future. I'm gonna shift the focus back over to our DM real quick. Um, Bringing Strahd in and out of the campaign as he was messing with the party, and uh, it, it's one of the best dynamics in the campaign as far as I'm concerned. Um, and some DMs struggle with that. Like there's DMs that are like, I brought Strahd in and he died right away in the first like I don't know what to do anymore. I, but you handled that whole thing flawlessly in my opinion. I mean, of course, I wasn't reading along in the module or anything as things progressed. But what can you say to um, people that are planning on running the game and like what is there anything that they could do to prepare themselves for that? Any tips or tricks that you have with that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, I appreciate the love for that, but that was definitely something I struggled with too. That was like one of the hardest parts of the module to figure out how to do. I know one of my older games I had sent Strahd in, and there's this totally real possibility of Strahd dying there, and it wasn't going to be very good. But luckily, I got him out. But yes, so for this campaign, I actually did when I got to the point where I needed him to start coming out. Like I did a lot of reading and watching YouTube videos and stuff and figuring out how to do this. So like the book by itself just it's like here's all this stuff about Strahd. He's gonna mess with your party. And hands it to you and is like good luck, you know. But I
Yeah,
found that on that subreddit that I was talking about earlier, I just took a lot of stuff from there. Also, YouTubers like Lunch Break Heroes, How to D&D, yeah, all those guys that I watch a lot of their stuff, and they all have recommendations, and they all handle it vastly differently. Um, but I just kind of took all the advice out there I could, and then kind of molded it with what our my characters or the players were like. So I kind of try to think of things that would really get them in the feels, and I try to just like throw those things out there anytime I seen an opportunity to. Um, but yeah, for advice for other people, I would highly recommend just checking out that subreddit. They have tons of articles and stuff you can check out of people how they've done it and their experiences, as well as those YouTubers. Definitely helped me out a lot.
because I mean every Strahd and is a little bit different. I feel like nobody actually runs it the the same. Um, what to just to follow up on that, was there one encounter in particular that was your favorite?
Um, there's actually two moments in the campaign that were my favorites, but one definitely stood out. But I did enjoy the whole moment with the party buying the meat pies and then giving them the fuzzball. That
Yeah.
was pretty great. Uh,
Yes.
but I got
Yeah.
it as far as like encounter wise. Like my favorite one was pretty much the entirety of episode 8, which is the episode where they went to Strahd's castle and had dinner with him, and then
Mm,
it kind of ended in this chase scene with Helga, which was pretty great.
nice. What was
Yeah, I
running?
agree.
Yeah, yeah. Did you guys enjoy that one or?
I did.
Oh,
My
I mean, it took me a little while to enjoy it because it took me by surprise so hard. But yeah, it was great after I calmed down. So
I would have to say my favorite encounter with Strahd is definitely for sure when I tried to get him at the tree. Because I did held vampire and Muff's like no legendary action,
Mm-hmm.
and like she does it again. She's like nope legendary action. He breaks it, and I'm like she tries one more time, like, and then she's like fuck it sunlight, and he just goes runs, and we had high enough perception to see that he was scared shitless. I loved it. I love that. That was like my favorite moment, other than the one when we met him on the road and Haley caught him lying.
The amulet is no joke. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, that was that. I think that was after Strahd gave Haley a vision of somebody killing Domo. I think is why, like, she had like 4 or 5 things within that time span of like something happening to Domo. I think, and that's what kind of gave her a bad day. and she was just like, he's just raining on our parade. I'm just gonna fuck with him for once.
Yeah, he is kind of a big old dick, isn't
He was.
he?
He was a dick.
He
He's no
really,
threat
really
now.
was.
I mean,
I'd say my favorite interaction with him was probably the first time that I like wolfed out and lost my shit over the druid place, and you guys had to tackle me and all that because I was going for him. And I
That was
1v1 Strahd for a little
natural
bit
20.
before you guys took me the fuck
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
I think that was the first time Haley hogtied Borkin in his wolf form. Like, oh shit!
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a natural 20 I rolled on that one. I can't
Yeah,
remember. I know it
because
was
I
a
rolled
really
a
good
20
roll.
something.
Yeah,
I
and
rolled a 20 something and you beat me out, so you had to have rolled the natural 20 because I have a
Yeah.
higher strength stat.
You do. Actually, I think you and I had the same strength stat, except when you were wolfed out. So yeah, I know we were very similar. I have to look.
you were a strong little halfling, most certainly.
I was strong.
So going from your favorite encounters with Strahd, what? Let's start with Haley. What if you had to pick one moment that just lives rent free in your head from this campaign? What would it be?
Oh, that would actually have to be probably the most recent epic moment that I felt was when Haley fell off the tower in the final fight with Strahd,
That was
and
intense.
that was scary. And I had been holding on to conjured animals for like the entire time we were in that castle to kind of speed our movement up. And I was like, no, this is gonna come up somewhere, and then just happens to get knocked off the tower, and I summon those two badass giant eagles. I would say that moment sticks with me forever. Anything prior to that would probably be when Haley best friended Marina. Like you are my sister. I'm gonna take care of you. Obviously her real name's Irina, but still, she's she's always gonna be Marina in Haley's eyes.
For sure. What Muff? What were you thinking after you pushed them off the off the castle?
So actually, I was looking in Strahd's mind as like just complete like a tactician with all the battlefield control and
Yeah,
stuff. I was literally waiting like I was trying to target the high DPS characters, so like I went for Bork and tried to draw him out, and then try to get to Elisabetta. She was on the side of the wall, um, and I was literally just kind of waiting to whittle those two down and waiting for someone to try to cross that bridge. That was my plan the whole time, was to knock
yes,
somebody off that bridge. So
Wee.
like finally,
yes.
It just
and I
happens to
got
be the
two.
one with the birds. Yeah, because RC fell too.
Mm.
But it just happened to be me and RC, and I just happened to have that conjured animals in my back pocket because that was my last of two spell slots. I had a one spell slot and I had a three spell slot that I've been sitting on. So
They
yeah,
they
Haley
came at
did
the
not go
perfect
in with
time.
much.
Did. I was
Uh,
like, man, I'm glad they had something for that because I didn't know what you got to do.
I'm so glad you were like, oh, it's okay if occasionally you change spells, and I was like, okay, because I didn't know you're not supposed to do that every time we long rest. So Haley, like I said, okay, Haley's gonna stick with the Beastmaster stuff because she's got the goddess fuzzball. For God's sakes, that dog, that wolf was amazing.
it,
Thank you, Muff, for letting me modify
yeah,
my Beastmaster pet.
I love the character of Fuzzball. So
yeah. From day one, session one, I was like, I'm cheering for Fuzzball, and I want everyone else to TBK. Fuzzball dies, I'm gonna freak out. And
She
then yeah,
did
she did, and then
twice
yeah,
the same day.
came. We were able to bring her back. We were able to
Yeah.
bring her back.
Oh no,
Uh,
she died 3 times. She died 3 times in the whole campaign, but she poofed back that same day.
yes, yes. What Borkin? What about you? What overall? What moment just lives rent free in your head? Something you will go with for the rest of your days when you look back at this.
So I'd say it's like a 50-50 shot between um, the sniping the original leader of Vlaki and just one-shotting him, when they were all like, "What should we do?" and I was just like, "Boink, we're gonna do this." They're like, "Okay, I guess we're fighting." Like, and definitely, I think my favorite though is 1v1 against Elizabeth is probably my top favorite part of this whole campaign. Just because it's something that, like, in our backstories, we talked that we used to 1v1 all the time before we finally just joined up because I could never beat her and she could never, like, fully finish me off. So, like, it actually happened exactly like in the past. We were still just exactly where we were. We fought. We never came to a conclusion. We shook hands and we kept doing what we were supposed to do. So I thought that was just amazing because it fit exactly into how our backstory of how we ran into it.
Yeah, that I I I was really wanting to talk to Elizabetta about that 1v1 and how she also went in 1v1 against Strahd and then got taken over and yeah, oh that there was a whole that was a whole vibe.
Oh
uh
god. That fight, that scared me. That was
We were
actually I
both out of control fighting.
yeah. Yeah, what
yeah.
That
yeah, what was that like, Muff?
I was that whole situation with Elisa Bethel going off by herself was it was keeping me on the edge of the seat. I was like, oh man, are you sure you want to do this? But because I knew Strada was waiting up there for her. But yeah, like I did love like you always say, Randy, like the dice tell a better story than we ever could. But yeah, it just worked out perfectly. I was like, that totally fits whenever they started battling each other. So yeah, it was a great moment for sure.
And as traditional to backstory, Haley tried to defuse it and failed miserably.
That's
Like she did in the original, like in the backstory, because we discussed it a little bit,
Yep.
was is that Haley just would
Yeah.
stand in the background and watch them just duke it out. And it was because the first time she was like, "Oh, I'm not going anywhere near this." And so it's like the one time she tries to intervene with something that might actually work. No, she gets herself and it's like, "Yeah, I'm never breaking them up again. Forget this."
yeah.
Coughing and sneezing the whole way out of the room. It was pretty funny.
Well,
Yeah, that was a wild interaction.
that's that's kind of like the questions that I personally had. If anybody that's watching has questions that they want to ask, go ahead, put them down in the chat, and we'll get to them. I just kind of want to open it up for uh, how would you recommend Strahd to to anyone else, whether it be as a player, as a DM? It's widely known as one of the better modules in the history of the game itself. It used to be just a like a one shot that's evolved into this, level 1 to 10, which you guys went past that. Um,
We ended on level 4. No, 13. Ended on level 13.
yeah. So I guess a question, another question for Muff that I have while we kind of wait and see if any questions pop up in chat down there. Uh, you definitely did revamp Strahd for the end, um, because they were not level 10. Uh, what did that process look like? I mean, I know that I was kind of in there with you a little bit, but none of these other people that
Yeah.
are watching this were. So go ahead. What did that look like?
So I knew pretty much from the beginning of the game that I wanted to go a little past level 10, just because I don't like having there be an exact level cap. Just kind of limits everything. But I did. Strahd is very weak by the book. Like, yeah, like you guys could have one shotted him like a couple rounds and with no problem. But even without being level 12 or 13, you guys fought him at. But yeah, I did go through. I wanted him to be. I mean, he's like you said. There's several. He's been through D&D in several editions, and like he's supposed to be this fantastical like. He's the very first vampire, so he's got to feel that like mythic. That's why I made him a
Yeah.
mythic
Mm-hmm.
creature. But yeah, like I really just went through the entire character sheet. I left it like the base, like as a skeleton, but I definitely went through, modified a bunch of his abilities, switched out his spells. Like he's a wizard too, and he probably knows every spell out there, like or has had the potential to learn it. So I felt like pretty much any spell to his spell casting level would have been fair game. But some of them were just thematically correct, and I left those. But yeah, I had to beef up his hit points and AC for sure. And then another portion, which I don't know if the players caught on to this, but he kept escaping, which was part of the whole thing. But the second time he escaped, where he kind of dipped off for a while, he actually went into that same armory room where Borkin had discovered all that treasure, and the shield he was wielding was actually in there. I had him take that shield and go up to the top,
Mm.
so that boosted his AC a little bit more, and that was kind of a cool narrative reason as to why he would have been beefed up a little bit too. So
So
I should have stolen that shield from him earlier. Then
Yeah.
so what's oh go ahead. Go ahead.
I have a question for Muff actually. When I did that hunter's mark and I saw the figure running up the stairs, was that Strahd? Because I've
100%.
been wanting to know.
Yeah, that was 100% strat. I thought you guys were gonna fall.
Damn it! Should have left it on him. Because we
Yeah,
couldn't find him at one point. Damn it!
yeah.
So look, we got a question from the chat here. If the players were to play the campaign again, what classes would they choose for the next playthrough, and what do they think the other class would add to the experience?
Ooh. Yes. I would play it again because this was my first complete from beginning to end module / campaign. I don't care how much Zard wants to argue with me about how it's just a module. Uh, I would play as a druid, and what would change it is that because we did this without a actual cleric, so I would love to do it with a character that can actually heal and do restoration spells and remove curses. Because if it wasn't for Father Lucian and the other pastor in the village of Barovia, we would have been screwed with a lot of those curse spells.
Yeah, when I saw your guys' party composition like at session 1, I was like, oh, they don't even have a oh, okay. Like they're just gonna go. Like,
Yeah,
all right.
I would love to play it from a healer's perspective. I think that would add some difference to it because I would definitely take more risks than I did with Haley. I mean, Haley took risks, but some of them were more of player forgetting that this was a cursed land. Like when Haley put on the cursed hat after they killed the witch with the walking house.
that was so stupid. I can't believe you did that.
That was pure 100% Kisty Liz. That was not Haley at all. I don't know what I was thinking. I was like, oh, I got a hat. I'm going to put this on. Wait, shit. It's cursed, isn't it? Yeah, it's cursed. Like, that's exactly how my
That was
brain went.
hilarious.
I was like, oh my gosh. But you know what? That's player error, but it was perfect because it got rid of that scroll that I had been holding specifically to cure Borkin of werewolf. So, yeah.
What
You're never gonna kill me. I ain't sick.
what what about you? What about you, Borkin? If you were going to go if you were going to play through this again, do you think you'd want to stick with your what was your class? Fighter?
Yeah, I was a psionic fighter, and then ranger.
Oh, you kind of got choppy there. Psionic fighter and what kind of ranger?
Monster
Monster
Hunter
Hunter
Ranger.
Ranger. Monster Hunter Ranger. Would you play that again, or would you want to try something completely different?
I'd
Like,
go through. I'd be down to play that again. I'd probably go through with a character more like Tig. Honestly, like a wild magic source bard, bard or eloquence bard. I think that would bring a whole lot to the table with the just being able to charisma the people and stuff like that. Because like I'd still come into it with the whole I want to save Barovia. there was a lot of times where we were separate and our charisma character wasn't with us, and Borkin had to try to talk to people, and that's not a great idea.
I feel that. Muff, if you were to play Curse of Strahd as opposed to run it, what kind of character, what class do you think you'd want to bring to the table?
I think it would depend on like running this game twice. I kind of had two different party compositions. I do think having there not be any kind of like divine class adds a whole different dynamic to the game. I think it's a little more fun because like having a healer or a paladin just there's a lot of undead, so that just completely negates a lot of the stuff that the module throws at you. But I don't. A bard would be kind of crazy. That I'm curious how that would work out in the Curse of Strahd game. Personally, I'd probably play
I think we know.
a. I'd probably play a warlock or something, just because I love the diving into the darkness. So I mean, that's why I love the campaign anyway. So yeah, probably go
Okay.
warlock or something darker.
Yeah. So we had
Yeah.
we had Haley with a Beastmaster Ranger.
Yeah.
Borkin was a psionic fighter, monster hunter ranger. Uh, Zard and RC, they were a straight artificer. Am I correct on that?
Warforged
Believe so.
Artificer, I
Warforged
think,
artificer.
is what
Yeah,
he
Yeah.
he was straight.
Yeah.
I think he went with Battlesmith. I think that's the one that gives you the cannon, the Eldritch
Yeah.
cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 And then Elizabetta was a Dompier, divine soul sorcerer, and
And warlock.
and warlock. Yeah.
Warlock.
Back
Yeah.
to the talisman.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, I mean, you guys had a
She was
pretty,
mostly celestial warlock, but
yeah. I mean, yeah, you guys did have a pretty diverse party as far. I mean, yeah, you had the two rangers, but as far as how each role was kind of filled, you know, differently by all of you guys. So I think you guys came in with it and ended with it really well. Thank you, Darth, for your question from the chat there. We appreciate you tuning in and contributing to the conversation here. Let's see. What else do I got here?
I do want to say something about the two having two rangers in the party.
Yeah.
I was super surprised about how different the two like them being the same class. They were completely different characters. Like it was super impressive to see that.
Yeah. I was happy that Borkin and Haley had some differences. Even though Haley technically was a hunter ranger type, she didn't hunt specifically monsters. She was just more about having her pet fuzzball. Um, I can actually recall the first time I think we had the really big fight against the vampire spawn in the coffin makers uh, attic, of like how quickly we took care of that situation. Like Borkin ran up there by himself, and then like within I think less than 4 or 5 rounds, we took out all of them, and it was just Borkin, myself, and I think did we have to like bottle them at the top by the stairs, or did we just have trouble getting up them? I can't remember quite all of it.
You guys definitely packed in at the doorway, so you couldn't like really get around. But yeah, there was a point where you were kind of funneling them into this little corridor and just picking them off.
Yeah.
yeah, that was the point where I made the definite final decision to start going into fighter. Because as soon as that happened, and I realized that I'm using my sword, I've been using like fight, I was shit at it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, I should probably get better at using a sword. And so that's when we started going into fighter.
Yeah, you definitely did get that lightsaber by the end of it. You were going ham with it for sure.
Oh yeah.
I was slightly jealous Borkin got the lightsaber, but then again, I got the crest of Ravenloft, so that was meant for a cleric, not for me. But Muff made changes, and I was like, I can work with this.
Yeah, I was.
I really like how Muff made me have to convince the sword to work with me. Like at first, I had to do it every time. Like sword worked me until eventually I did it 3 times, and it just like okay, I guess this guy's he's kind of fucked up, but I guess it'll work.
Yeah, that was a cool dynamic to watch as well. I forgot to tell you guys my favorite moment of just watching. Uh, like Muff, the meat pie thing was was that was good. That was good. Uh, but drop kicking birds. That
Oh my
Fucking
god.
drop
that
kick it all, goddamn.
Hell yeah.
that
Rite of passage for rangers.
But
You have to drop kick a bird.
that I was dying the first time, and then like when you guys got the little toy, like the drop kick bird toy, like
yeah,
yeah, that was
I will say that's gonna be like any ranger I play from now on. There's definitely gonna be a call out at some point in time about like, oh yeah, back when I was drop kicking birds, like training to become a real ranger, my rite of passage. They're like, what are you fucking talking about? Did you know all rangers have to drop kick a bird before becoming a ranger?
Yep.
as is
As
tradition.
That
as
was
soon as
beautiful.
as soon as that became a thing, like the drop kicking birds, I knew they were gonna at some point kill a raven, which was probably gonna be a were raven, just because that's like always
100% was.
Yeah.
you guys killed the shit out of one of the NPCs right at the beginning.
And it was like I think Haley even rolled low on her drop kick. Like
I
she
think
didn't even
you
roll.
actually nailed it. I think Working kind of like barely got it, and then you just came in clutch with the finisher. Is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you
Clawfoot drop
clobbered it.
kick.
Yeah.
Oh shit. That was not
Yeah,
a
that was
raven.
actually one of my other moments that is my list that weird. That just like, oh shit. That was like another big like drop on how like real this world is and how different it is from what we're used to. Because like obviously we would have never thought that was weird.
We hadn't been introduced to them at that point. So that was our introduction and quickly of love. Oh fuck. We did that. Whoopsie.
Definitely things were not as they seem like entering in there. So it's good that that happened right off the bat. Honestly.
For anybody watching out in PETA land, no birds were hurt in the making of this campaign. Uh, some trees
They
were
were
taken
actually
down.
people.
Yeah, yeah, they were just people. It's fine.
Yeah.
Tree.
I will say I want to make a fuzzball plushie to have. Like I really want a fuzzball plushie.
I full support. Full support. Let's make them and sell them. What?
All right.
Yeah, I mean, it's because the honestly, my campaign ended in the infancy of the Dungeon Oasis, which is the server that we play on, and how we all kind of met and came together. Um, but this is the first campaign that has really started and ended here. So you know, you guys are awesome. Thank you for being a part of this and doing it all. Um, you guys are top notch players, DMs in my opinion. It like I said, it's been an absolute blast to watch you guys do that whole thing from start to finish. Um, so just from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And as a viewer, uh, thank you again. Um, I think we're oh yeah, we got like 10 minutes left. Do you guys have any other questions for Muff or Muff, do you have any questions for your players? Things that kind of just maybe we missed or didn't get a chance to go over?
I kind of did a little after session talk off stream about like just asking them things they would change, or basically just a little after action review, like they call it in the military, just to
Sure.
uh, improve my next game. So I kind of got all the answers I was really looking for with that, but yeah.
Give me an inside scoop. What was something that you feel you will do different next time?
So definitely nerfing the werewolf lycanthropy thing. We talked about that.
Mm, okay.
Super broken, but yeah, that could have been. I actually, which you were part of this too, Randy, but and Dottie, we kind of homebrewed our own system for handling players as lycanthropes.
Yeah.
Um, Doing that research, like I found some that would really like if I went to Curse of Strahd specifically again, I would probably implement those at session 0, like or some variation of them because there's some pretty good rules that people spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff before I did. But the way that we ran it, it was fun, but I probably wouldn't do it again. It's a little hard to challenge the players.
Yeah, in one of my older campaigns, we definitely had two were tigers, and that
Oh,
yeah, it was rough.
Yeah,
Yeah, were tiger barbarian, like get like yeah, I quit. Bye. Like it, yeah, so I definitely feel you on that. Um, is there I know you guys had your little after after the session meeting, but I'm nosy and I didn't get to participate in that. So let me hear some more.
see here. I'm trying to remember that conversation because I was kind of in a little bit of a haze, like end of campaign high that you kind of get when you finish any story.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, we did it. um, I would probably have to say that because you actually asked earlier what advice to Muff he would pass to any other players.
hmm.
I'm actually considering taking my first chance at DMing, doing a Curse of Strahd game
Hey,
because we played this, and so I'm actually I've taken advice from Muff, and I'm like I'm putting it away. We don't know when it's gonna happen, but it will eventually. That's gonna be my first game or a one shot because
nice
I've never DM'd before. So this is I think this module will be perfect for that for me because I kind of know it.
for
that
sure.
to have inspired you to start with Curse of Strahd. It's a great module to run. So
Yeah, and I don't know. I might hide our characters in there. Just saying. I mean, if just for shits and giggles, saying like it's thousands of years later and somehow Strahd came back, we can blame RC for this because he's walked off
100%.
with the fucking amber with the vampire aspect in it. And it's like, oh, I'm just taking this to a proper authorities to store it. I'm like, So I think there should be an adventure of Haley and Borkin going to go get that and bring it back to Barovia.
could be there might be some one shots later in the future where we continue on, but for now it's over for now. So,
You're gonna have to catch Haley between having 8 kids.
yeah,
God damn.
Oh yeah, that's also something that was in the in our end of talk was
Yeah.
rolling for kids.
Oh god.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah.
you got 8 kids.
Haley ended up with Domo, obviously,
Yeah,
in Kresk, and she did try to convince him to go to Velaki. I don't think we agreed on that. I think she kind of was like, okay, we're gonna make Kresk better, and so she made a deal with the Celestial that lived up in that monastery to be like, look, the curse is broken. You said you wanted to leave, but you want to stick around, you can, but you can't be making more of these things out of dead bodies or people because they're not going to be husks anymore. They're not going to they're once they're dead, yeah, they're not using their body, but you can't reanimate them because that's someone's loved one that's going to stay dead. She kind of laid down the law, but no, Muff had me roll a D8 and I'm thinking it's going to land on a 2 or 3. No, I landed on a freaking 8. So
so,
Haley and Domo had 8 kids, 4 boys, 4 girls. That's kind of
busy.
yeah. They
I'm
got busy.
busy.
They got well. Haley was just like, I need to rebuild my tribe. Hello, hello, Domo.
a good start.
You got right to it. Good start.
However, it's like, what's the spacing between those 8 kids? We don't know yet. That was never discussed. We just know that she has a total of 8 kids before she dies. That's how I look at
A full litter.
it. Yeah, she had a litter. She had a litter. Now she has 8 kids. And maybe one day they might also be little hunters themselves with their own little mini fuzzballies. But I will
Oh, they're
say,
definitely going to drop kick at least one bird by the time they die.
I expect Uncle Borkin to do that. Okay, Uncle Borkin better teach my kids how to freaking drop kick a bird with their mom. Though we better make sure it's not a were raven.
That
Like,
low.
we teach them, no, you respect the ravens. You do not touch the ravens.
We've been instituting new birds. Like the boys, we have some variety.
Well, I do have the giant eagles I can summon, so them drop kicking those won't be too bad. Although that would actually be pretty fun. Just, oh, here's 2 giant eagles. Okay, kids,
Figure it out.
kick them. Figure it out. Have fun. Don't kill my kids, you fucking birds.
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly how that conversation would go. But yeah, Haley's gonna have a litter of kids. But she will still be a hunter. And I believe she, like, do we want to cover what Elizabetta and Borkin did?
Uh, yeah. What did Borkin do? And if Elizabeth is involved in that?
Well, Elizabeth became the queen,
Yes.
and I took over the military of Barovia, and I created an elite blank special operations force of all the werewolves that I could find and reform.
Nice.
And we are based out of Valaki, and I took over control of the and so like I'm the mayor there, and I live there with my wife, just doing like old general type stuff. Like he like trained the unit, found a set them or any like little missions that we had to do along the way. He'd like go out, for old times' sake, but he just chilled. He did what he wanted to do. His whole life was spent trying to hunt. God managed to do that, and he's just like, I guess I should make sure this place is safe for everybody. So then he did that, and he's like, yeah, good, I'm done.
Did Borkin end up with any kids?
We never actually rolled for that.
Yeah, no, we
We did
didn't.
hook up.
He's aware.
I think you,
Uh-oh.
you kind of cut out there a little bit. And oh,
Technical difficulties.
yeah, that's part of life, especially
Yeah.
in this technological age that we live in now. Nothing is perfect except for this game you guys just ran. In my opinion, it was absolute perfection, uh, start to finish. So once again, thank you guys for keeping me entertained for the last. How long did that? How long did it go?
It's
A year.
exactly a year. Yeah.
Exactly a year. Well,
Yeah.
happy mother trucking birthday,
Woo!
and uh, thank you guys for joining me and letting me kind of ask you guys some questions, pick your minds about the campaign and all of that. I just have one more question for you guys. Um, does anybody want a meat pie?
Oh God, none of those.
Haley will say no to that meat pie because she learned her lesson when she gave it to Fuzzball.
I'm gonna pass on it.
Okay.
I don't know, Borkin, you have immunity. I think you'd be okay.
On that, just once again, thank you guys for hanging in there with me and doing this all. Once again, I am Macaroni and Cheese. We have Haley, we got Muff, we got Borkin. I wish the other ones could have joined us, but again, thank you guys for taking this time and doing this with me. Uh, I'm super bad at outros. I'll be honest.
It's okay. It's okay.
Thanks
So
for having us.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was absolutely my pleasure. And like Twitch chat just said, may the Strahd crew live forever in our hearts. I know I'll remember it forever.
Oh yeah.
You guys are awesome. Uh, thanks again for everything. Uh, one last time, come follow us on Discord. Play along with us next time. Make sure you catch up on all the previous stuff over on YouTube, Dungeon Oasis streams. Um, I don't know. Follow us on Instagram.
Like and subscribe.
Wait. We have an
Like and subscribe.
Instagram.
We have an Instagram.
Wait,
Mu-
what?
Muff set it up.
When?
Well, you know, it was. I don't know.
Long time
Oh,
ago.
okay.
Yeah, it was.
We need to set up those
Yeah,
social links
Jesus
We-
Christ.
on the Twitch like
We-
now.
we
and
do.
so- I need to also sit down and program the bots so that way Discord can pop up as an actual link when you type in !Discord.
we're
Uh,
working on stuff.
Yeah.
We're
yeah.
working on stuff.
We've been posting
Growing every
Discord,
day.
Discord. It says
Yeah.
Darth. So all right. Hey, I have a quick question. Muff, are you wanting to plug your new game?
Yeah, I guess we can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next one
Yes.
starting up is I think these two players actually, and Randy is going to be a player all in the
Yes.
with some
Hell yeah.
Yes.
with a few others. We're playing I'm making a homebrew campaign this time, straying away from modules. But I am taking a lot of the Magic the Gathering lore because I love Magic the Gathering and trying to implement that into a D&D campaign. So if you are interested in Magic the Gathering or D&D or anything else related to those hobbies, come check us out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're starting up next Thursday, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was a Wednesday game.
I thought it was
Okay.
Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. We'll figure that out. We'll let it
Yeah.
'Cause I could have swore it was Wednesdays at 6:00 because I can't. I have to pick up Zard at 6 on
I
Thursday.
think you're right. I think you're
Yeah.
right. I think we did say Wednesdays, but
Okay. It's
Yeah.
replacing Curse of Strahd, just 2 hours later than our original start time.
Yeah.
4 p.m., which then moved to 5, which was nice. It was very good.
yeah, but we'll let everybody know that. Those
Yeah.
details.
So make sure
Join
you
the
guys,
Discord!
yeah, join the Discord to get all that info when it's solidified. Make sure you're following us on Twitch so you can catch all the episodes. Thank you guys for hanging out once again, whether it's in the chat or here with these lovely players and the benevolent DM who didn't murder anybody, no matter how hard I cheered for it. Nobody died.
That close.
They
Fuzzball
did come
died.
close.
Fuzzball died,
Yeah.
okay? She was not in the final battle with Strahd. She technically was
I got
dead.
saved by a death ward and a death immunity.
My death ward wore out. I never got to use it.
I gotta say that now that I think about it, that is another one of my favorite moments is when the death ward that Elizabetta put on me that I forgot about saved me from being killed as I one-shot that boss in the underworld. Was pretty fire.
Oh shit, I forgot about that. That's still fresh in my brain too. But hey, round of applause for our DM.
Yes,
Okay.
for
That
sure.
was amazing.
Thank you.
I gotta hold my push to talk, so
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
thank
beat
you.
my chest. But
You guys that watched the whole time too. Really appreciate you guys watching the whole time too. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thanks for keeping me entertained for reals.
And the next one's
Hey,
just
it
gonna
is
be
what
as
we do.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, this next one's gonna be wild. Love, you better have your fucking pants on.
Yeah.
I am so not playing Haley as this character. I'm saying it right now, she's a total opposite. I rolled
Right.
some damn good stats.
We are gonna take this moment to get out of here and
Yes.
and close the stream down. Thank you guys for hanging out. I mean, I'm a broken record. Join the Discord. Come continue this conversation with us there, and we'll see y'all next time.
Love
Thanks
you all.
again.
Good night.
Night, y'all.
Later dudes.